Hey guys, and welcome to another epic showdown in the crazy world of Warhammer, as I myself, a Rubber Duck of War, lead the forces of the Vampire Counts up against B Green and the Dark Elf Legions. And I know what you're thinking, Rubber Duck of War, what on earth are you doing playing Vampire Counts? You're terrible with them, you do not main Counts, you main Lizardmen, particularly up against the Dark Elves, which is generally considered a terrible matchup for the Vampire Counts. But I thought, you know what, let's give it a go and see what we can do. So let's delve in here and see if I've got one or two tricks up my sleeve. For our army, we have triple Felbats up in the sky looking to harass the enemy back line, as well as any skirmish cavalry, dark riders with repeater crossbows and so forth that we can hunt down. Likewise, we can just leave the Felbats flying in the sky to chase off routing units if need be. We have zombies dotted all the way along the front line who are here to absorb the damage and slowly encircle the Dark Elf forces, as I am expecting a bit of a box build. We have triple Graveguard in the back, one of which is the Sternsman as well, coming in with that really useful regeneration, and they're going to be working as bodyguards here for the Claw of Nagash, the Regiment of Renown Mortis Engine, which can do some really beautiful drain effect. Again, particularly if my enemy does go for a defensive box build, we can hopefully drag them down with this beauty. We have double Vargulfs as well, one on the left-hand side, one on the right-hand side, looking to do a bucket ton of cycle charging with them. In the distance, we do have the Die Pack, Regiment Renown Die Wolves in the distance. And leading the army here, we have the mighty Vlad von Karstein, looking as gruesome and badass as ever with his ethereal sword. He's coming in with the Karstein Ring to make him very tanky, Master of Beguilement as well. We have Arcane Conduit, Wind of Death, Raise Dead, and Invocation of Nahek. And just to make him that tiny bit more tanky, we have Blood Drinker, meaning he's going to restore 8 hit points per second if he's engaged in combat. I believe that's if you're engaged in combat, unless he maybe gets that all the time. Let's double take a look. No, it looks like that is constant. Wow, that is very powerful indeed. For my opponent here, we do have double Blackheart Corsairs looking to skirmish a little bit whilst we do our slow, ponderous wander forward. Going to be very good actually at taking down Mortis Engines and stuff, particularly when they can fall back behind their defensive layout. And it's not quite the build I was expecting, but relatively similar. We have a load of Dread Spears dotted through the front line, well, 2 units, and then it gets super elite bad to the bones. We have Sisters of Singing Doom in the back, we have Blackguard of Nagarond and Hargnef Executioners dotted all the way along, including the Blades of the Blood Queen, the Regiment of Renown, who look very regal in this glorious colour scheme, holding their blades like samurai. We do have a Khainite Assassin alongside Morathi, and this is a quite frankly disgusting combo, because the Khainite Assassin comes in and not only can he protect his liege lady here with Assassin's Trophy, taking down any of my characters, but he has Web of Shadows, which is an area effect, damage as well as slow. And if you guys have been keeping up to date with Total War Warhammer, you know at the moment these air effect spells are disgustingly powerful because they are a little bit bugged, so they will hit way larger air effect than it says they do on their tooltip. So you combine that with Morathi coming in with Soul Stealer and you have a really deadly combo. She also has Melkoff's Mystifying Miasma and her Mighty Wand, and we even have a Death Hag down here who I don't get to see the Death Hag terribly often. They do come in with Chill Blade, so that's going to be nuking our melee attack even more, combined with Morathi, who's already taken away your melee attack and given you a bucket ton of debuffs with Enchanting Beauty and Heartrend and Dark Sword. It is a very powerful hero core, and this is the way that Dark Elf players tend to go for it. The Die Pack are going to hunt down the Blackheart Corsairs alongside the Felbats, so we're going to be doing some relatively decent damage here. I was kind of hoping to break them with the lovely surround there, but there's a load of Blackguard of Nagarond nearby and more shots coming in, so we are going to peel off. We did a little bit of damage, we might lose some Felbats, but to be honest, Felbats are Felbats at the end of the day. They're kind of born into the world to die, and the Die Pack will be falling back to try and harass the enemy in the later stages of the game. But at least we've annoyed the Blackheart Corsairs, kept them on that right-hand side, so the rest of our build can start to advance forward. You can see the Vargulfs taking the lead here, charging forward alongside Vlad von Karstein and the Claw of Nagash. Everything else is a little bit slow and kind of bobbling forward as it does quite jollily. Felbats just flying high above my opponent at the moment to see if we can find any hidden foes, and we do indeed manage to spot the Khainite Assassin, who's doing some lovely 360 no-scopes, but to be honest, if you're shooting Felbats, you're wasting your ammunition, so that's good news for us. Once again, I'm going to kind of try to bait in on top of these Blackheart Corsairs, but instead end up deciding to go wide with the Die Pack, looking to hide in the trees instead. Zombies are pushing forward, Graveguard as well, and we are looking to engage with the enemy. Vlad von Karstein doesn't need to wait for anyone though. He's gone for the Jon Snow effect here and has charged Leroy Jenkins style into the enemy. because Dread Spears are basically going to do 0 damage to Vlad. He is a very tanky lord. 70 melee attack and 50 melee defense is super solid, and he'll quite happily drag down these Dread Spears, particularly when the Claw of Nagash comes in and the Varghulf, just looking to overwhelm and break this unit as quickly as possible. High-Knife Executioners are getting drained, and that is because of the Mortis effect from the Claw of Nagash, and the Sternsmen are going to start pushing in to help try to deal some death blows. More zombies and Graveguard are trying to pop in at different points of the battle. I don't want to bunch up too much because, of course, the Web of Shadows and Soul Sealer is going to be disgustingly nasty, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to avoid, and it looks like we are going to be getting hit with our first debuff, which is indeed a Soul Stealer, and that's going to hopefully support their Hard-Knife Executioners as well as those not Bleak Swords, the Blackguard of Nagron. There we go. So Soul Stealer is doing some pretty nice damage. You can see the blades of the Blood Queen are moving up upon the Graveguard as well as the zombies. Some of our Fellbats have been rampaged. They were diving down to try and deal with this assassin with the help of the Die Pack, looking to surround and overwhelm the single entity. And we're not doing a terrible job there. On the right-hand flank, things are going very, very well because of the Claw of Nagash draining down the Blackguard. And of course, we have Vlad himself there. Left-hand side's not going too good, so we're going to go for the old Hail Mary shot and go for a Wind of Death down the line, destroying blades of the Blood Queen, but also flooding through, and actually not hitting too many of our own troops. It was quite a nice cast there, getting rid of the blades down to about half health from that one cast. There's a lot more Blackguard of Nagron starting to push in at this right-hand side, and we've really crumpled on this flank. Fellbats have been sacrificed just to try to distract the Black Hawk Corsairs. I don't want them shooting the Claw of Nagash and my Varghulfs, so I'm just trying to chuck bodies at them basically to annoy them and keep them away from the main fight, because the Claw of Nagash is up to 41 kills already, doing some really nice work, just single-handedly dragging down a load of these troops, as the Varghulfs are currently bounding around the battlefield, going after single entities and weakened foes, and this one is even being used to drive back the handbows, at least for now, before he gets assisted by the Graveguard with great weapons. In the main fight, the Claw of Nagash is really all of a sudden in huge trouble. It was full health just a few moments ago, but the Death Hag combined with Morathi coming in and doing some good work. We do pop an Overcast Invocation the heck to try and keep it alive if possible, and it's just about clinging on for dear life right now. I believe that was the counter a Web of Shadows which went down, although it looks like that actually is just coming in now. So in comes the Web of Shadows. All these area of effects are really starting to add up and do some nasty damage to us. In fact, it looks like we're going to be hit yet again as well. Web of Shadows combined with Soul Stealer, and our army is just starting to crumble and fall apart. Luckily we punt that assassin in the face. That's what you deserve, as the Varghulf comes in and starts slapping him around. He's going to run away and try to escape, but the Varghulf is a very swift beastie, though there are some Black Hawk Corsairs giving a little bit of range support, as well as the Blackguard of Nagron, who the Knight Assassin is going to fall back into. Vlad von Carstein is currently trying to take on Death Hag as well as Morathi, and with all the nukes to his stats, his melee attack is down to 45, which isn't particularly amazing anymore, particularly up against Morathi, who's quite a solid melee combatant. But we do have the Claw of Nagash coming back in, going to be doing that lovely drain effect and topping us up quite nicely. Vlad von Carstein has Assassin's Trophy popped on him, but at the end of the day, he's still a tanky boy, and he's able to hold off the Morathi and Death Hag and Assassin Little Hero Corbett. Varghulf is starting to struggle a little bit. Luckily, the Black Hawk Corsairs are getting drained and brought down, and the other Varghulf is a little bit more healthy. He is indeed getting healed up by an Invocation the heck, so not too bad there. And Vlad is finally starting to land some blows in this battle of carnage and destruction. The mighty heroes meet for a duel. I feel like this would never happen in real life, and the generals would kind of just never meet each other, but in the glorious realm of Warhammer, it happens every single battle. And it looks like Morathi is going to decide to flee for her life from the might of Vlad, as the Varghulfs also start to swoop in there. So lovely little bit of work done to her. She is terrified at the moment and falling back, so we are spam clicking right now with our Varghulfs to try and hop on top of her and destroy her. Balance of power is dead even, but there's nothing left to stop the Black Hawk Corsairs just raining shot after shot in. Though I think my opponent is making a mistake. He's trying to shoot Vlad down there. He definitely needs to be using all his ammunition up on the Varghulfs. Looks like a spell was about to come down, but unfortunately it was countered. We have popped a massive debuff on the assassin there, and Vlad is dueling both heroes one-handed, and he's slaughtering them. The assassin is now running for their life, much like Morathi. Unfortunately, one of our Varghulfs has a rampage because of the Sisters of Sing and Doom, and it has rampage straight into the Black Guard. So this is probably one dead Varghulf. A couple of nice shots are being ripped now by the Black Ark Corsairs, doing big damage there, but luckily our second Varghulf is on the prowl and he smells blood and carnage. Swooping down, there is no hope for Morathi. She's actually got 1 HP right now, gets face-piled into the floor, somehow survives that, but I don't think she's too long for this world. With a big old slap, she should be going down, and there she goes. The witch is dead, but things are still looking a little bit dicey. We have some zombie summons, and apart from that, it's just Vlad and this single Varghulf, and there is still Blackguard of Nagaron dotted around the battlefield. In fact, a unit of 50 Blackguard is some very scary stuff. So these summons coming on top of them, and then using Vlad to try to drag them down is my current play. We do have Assassin's Trophy popped on us, but still okay stats, enough to at least beat back and slaughter some of the enemies. And the Varghulf is going to be coming in for a bit of a charge, but I'm certainly looking to do some hit and run style tactics to hopefully not take too much damage on Vlad. We do pile drive in, another zombie summon is going to be coming in just to very slowly basically knacker out the Blackguard of Nagaron. We want them fighting zombies, not our key targets, and while they're doing that, they're getting more and more tired. As you can see, they're already exhausted and shaken, and at the end of the day, zombies cause fear. That's negative to your leadership. And my opponent decides, you know what, this is not a fight I think I can win, and he does decide to bow out. But very well played. I think it was game over. This Blackguard of Nagaron were about to die, and army losses was getting very close. There was a couple of Corsairs left, but they were they were completely out of ammunition and very weak towards the end. But well played to B Green. He did say he was actually a relatively newer player into the scene. He certainly knew his stuff, though. This is a very meta Dark Elf style of play, though normally you would see it in more of a box style, so it's really hard to crack in and rear charge, although our build wasn't really about that at the end of the day anyway. But yeah, super good stuff. Hopefully we will face you again at some point, B Green. He did mention he knew the channel, so if you are watching this, hello! And well played on your game, man. Really impressive stuff. We just about managed to claw our way to victory there, mainly due to Vlad, actually, who did a really good job just surviving the hero core of the Dark Elves. There's not many factions in the game which can do a more disgusting core than the Dark Elves. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. We will pop into the damage value and damage delta of all of the units in just a second. Very interested to see how much the Claw of Nagash did. But before we do get there, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe as well for more Total War Warhammer content into the future. And comment down below what you thought of the game. Are you happy that I am finally playing Vampire Counts? Or is that a big boo and you just demand more Nakai action? I've actually been playing Nakai quite a lot in tournaments recently and winning some games with him, which is really good fun all around. But yeah, comment down below what you thought of the battle, MVPs, favourite moments, or simply yell quack. I really do enjoy reading them. They really are very inspirational and kind of want you keep making you go in more and more, and hopefully up the quality and amount of content that we have here on the channel. There are links down below in the description. If you'd like to support me via Patreon, there is a link to that. But there's also a link to my Discord. On my Discord, you can submit replays to me, and I may cast them on the channel. Don't get disheartened if you submit a load of replays and they don't get on the channel. It's not necessarily the quality of your game. You might send in a Wood Elf game, and I've already got a couple of Wood Elf ones ready and lined up that I'm going to do, and so forth. So continue to send them in, and eventually I'm sure you will get them cast. There's also a load of cool people there who, I think we have over 700 people in my Discord now, of new players, experienced players, so you can certainly find a good old training partner, do some fun battles, and chill out with a load of cool people. But anyway, on to damage dealt and damage value. The mighty noseless Vlad von Carstein, over 10k damage dealt, 2,665 damage value, and 66 kills. Certainly not too shabby whatsoever, considering he did use the majority of his magic on heals, as well as zombie summons, but we did get that really nice Wind of Death to cleave through the Regiment of Renowned Executioners. The zombies across the board, I mean, 10 kills isn't bad on a zombie. 12, hey, they would be able to go home and tell their undead families about how good they did. Although they did all get slaughtered, they just slowly kind of wear out the enemy and allowed the Graveguard to saturate on top. And the Graveguard did an okay job. 1,167 damage value isn't terrible. You have one though, only 435, 749 on the Sternsman there. Felbats, 65. 73 and 49 damage value. Not much going for them. The die pack, only 415 as well. We didn't use our skirmishers to the best of our ability today, but at the end of the day, they did manage to distract the enemy and keep the Claw of Nagash firing for as long as it did. For the Vargulfs, they performed pretty good. 630 damage value on the one on the left, and the one on the right, 69 kills. I'm going to leave that one in the air for you guys to make a joke about. And we have 1,723 damage value. This Vargulf performing an amazing job here. The Claw of Nagash, 2,614 damage value, over 13k damage dealt, and 115 kills. Beautiful play there by the glorious Claw of Nagash. Did some good work. Synergized quite well as well with Vlad von Carstein, who was able to protect it. Eventually it did go down, but of course it is also, much like Soulstealer and Web of Shadows, as much as I was complaining about them in the game, Claw of Nagash is still air effect, so it is going to be draining more people than it should be at the moment. Morathi, 69 kills as well, so she has a lot in common with that Vargulf. 2,240 damage value and 69 kills is really quite impressive, considering for the majority of the battle, she wasn't on top of the targets she really wanted to duel. Eventually got on the Claw of Nagash though, and brought the pain. Some nice well-placed Soul Stealers as well, coming in by B Green. The Death Hag is an interesting choice. Don't get to see her terribly often, but again, it's just to stack those debuffs alongside Morathi. 1,305 damage value also proves she knows how to bring the pain. Canine Assassin, 1.5. Didn't do too much in combat. That's just from those Web of Shadows, really. He did little points kind of fight Vlad and other key targets, but mainly the Vargulfs were kind of punting him around the battlefield quite a bit. But still, 67 kills, over just shy actually of a 7k damage dealt, and a huge amount of damage value. Web of Shadows are one of the most powerful items in the game currently, at least in my little duck opinion. Dread Spears just got annihilated. Witch Elves as well, 782 damage value is not shabby, but this is the Regiment of Renown version, so they are rather expensive. The Elite Infantry, of course, got big numbers. That is what they do against Counts. In fact, for the most part, anyone who is looking to bring Elite Infantry, Vampire Counts is the perfect matchup for you to do it. Harganeth Executioners, 64 kills, 1.2k damage value. As for both the Blackguard and Nagarond, only 38 kills on this one, but still an impressive 1.4 damage value. The other one, 1.8 with 173 kills, over 14,000 damage dealt. Blades of the Blood Queen, though they got eviscerated in a puff of blood, smoke and carnage from that Wind of Death, still got an impressive 1,166 damage value, over 12k damage dealt. Good performance by them, 165 kills, not too shabby. And the Black Hawk Corsairs were very, very annoying. 65 and 56 kills, 1,230 and 934 damage dealt. Honestly, the majority of B Green's force paid for itself or got very close, but it wasn't quite enough in the end, with the mighty Vlad holding on for dear life and the opponent's army kind of crumbling and running for the hills. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was really fun to actually play Vampire Counts for once and just have a good fun time. Also, it was a really good cast, so hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, peace, peace, and as always, stay awesome.